of the name. It's been like,
no, it's fine. Hey,
right.
whatever.
I'm sure Milos has gotten some butchering as well.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
What's the most common butchering you get?
All right, recording.
As a child, Meatloaf was my nickname because
Meatloaf. Hey, that's a good singer at least.
Was right, and it did.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, he was a legend.
Yes, icon.
All right.
For this other guest that we have, just this vein.
How's audio? Audio sound good, and everybody?
Mic check. Hello.
Yeah,
test,
audio
test,
sounds
test.
good.
Am I close enough? Do I need to go closer?
No, you're good right there.
Okay, sweet.
So,
right.
picking up everybody, we're all recording. So,
Perfect.
whenever you're ready.
And we're rolling.
Perfect. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the One Up Podcast. We are back. I am back. Sorry for missing last episode, but the chips came back for their revenge after the first episode, and so I was like dying again. Nah, I'm kidding. But the chips were deadly.
Don't die. We will miss you.
Anyways, as always, my name is Milos Bukarica. My co-host here, George Martinez, as always. Behind the camera, Manuel, you can't see him. And our guest today, Michelle Rose Domb. She is
that's me. Hello.
an actress.
Yep.
And pretty much everything else under the sun. She's told us she's been doing a lot of stuff on productions, and that is amazing. Welcome to the podcast. Good to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
You just went quiet.
That's it.
All right.
That's the podcast.
Right?
Thanks for watching. I was hoping maybe you'd have like an intro question, a good question, George. I was looking at you, throw it to you, buddy.
Well, let's just start at your inspiration for getting into the industry.
Oh my goodness. I actually didn't start as an actor. Fun fact, I got into modeling care of like the fact that I am based in Dallas. I'm from Dallas, so it's sort of the mecca of the malls, if you will. And we had, for JC Penney and Dillard's, these spring Easter collections. And so thought it'd be a good time, some frilly dresses, and they were just like ensconced in tulle, these skirts that had very itchy fabric underneath them, and I'd get home and I'd be like, nope. And so I started ripping out parts of these dresses to these dresses that we were renting, essentially. And so they were like, you're keeping them now, and also you're fired. I'm like, cool, okay. I was like 3. So, I didn't know from like renting wardrobe and whatever. It was a lesson learned for sure. But at the time, I was definitely watching like a lot of Sesame Street and things where kids were very, very animated. And so the early childhood development director, she approached my mom and was like, maybe your daughter should consider an acting class. And at the time, Garland had this place. It was called Capers for Kids by a lady, shout out, Boo Capers. I think she's still on LinkedIn. Yeah. And started taking her classes. And the rest, as they say, was about 4 when I started. There you go.
Nice.
Time to look back.
Probably the youngest person who's been doing this the longest, at least like from the earliest age on the podcast so far. So congratulations.
Nice. Thank you.
I think the previous record we had was like 7. So
walker.
Yeah, she's not as being. I was just saying earlier,
Yeah.
like I started way late. I started my film stuff like right after high school. So
wow.
yeah, I mean that's early. George, I think you were about high schoolish too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was around 13 whenever I got into it.
Oh,
and I think once
younger. Yeah.
whenever I started like actually playing with cameras and stuff, I was in high school. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Amateur, she's got you beat by a decade, bro.
It's fine. Someone's got to be the vet on set. Yeah.
Gotcha. So, what's your favorite memory from one of your earliest shoots? As when you were a kid?
Oh my gosh! I mean,
have
it's
something you can just pull up?
It's like, yeah, right. You certainly have like a different perspective when you're a child, right? Because for one, there are labor laws, so you only work so much of the time, and then when you get to be adult, it's like, haha, no, just kidding, you might be working overnight. So it's just different energies for sure. I'm trying to think of the earliest. I did a lot of stage first, actually, and then got into TV film more like 2014, 2013. So just stage productions, definitely playing a nun and like having for the crucifix being like half my body because not of a tall people. I don't know if you caught that. So like in being short and then like designing for wardrobe was harder when I was younger. And still is now. I'm like, use large, please. But it's fine. But yeah, so being on stage, certainly Shakespearean production, they had built into the set this facade. So there was this window as well and getting out, like putting a set of ladders behind it in order to like peer from it, having for that experience and making sure, oh, by the way, don't fall. That was like really memorable too. Let's see. And that was like in the park. So it was like 3 different experiences all over South Florida.
Nice.
And that was Shakespeare Miami. Shout out Colleen. Let's see. As far as for like TV and film, I mean, one of my favorites, one of my more recent, is for Netflix's Bloodline, and I was a stand-in for Linda Cardellini and a lot of the other key lead actors. It was an immeasurable experience. So grateful for it. A lot of those production people ended up going to shoot on Ballers, so we would have for those avenues as well. Really grateful for that time. And it was 2 straight years just driving at least 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, crossing over an 18-mile bridge, hoping you had enough gas in your car, and like being in the tropics, man. One memory that I have that's really fun is like, I don't know, they were putting pesticide across a lawn that we were filming nearby, so we had to hold for like this helicopter just like spraying down. Hopefully it's okay, noxious fumes, being a part of it. But being by the ocean, being by these beautiful skylines, being in Key Largo, let alone, really was just incredible. Like, is this a vacation? Are we? But we would work overnight and stuff, so that was like the reality check. It's like, yeah, we would have our key lime pie, but also like 20-hour day. So
yeah,
cool. But yeah, 2 years. It was wild. I was always coming back because I had a dog. Or 3. But but it was immeasurable. Just wonderful experience.
Sounds like you had a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of my first streaming experiences. Like, it's not as new a media now, but definitely like all these little streaming networks really have paved the way, opened things up.
Yeah, everybody's making their own studios and everything, making their own stuff, which is kind of why everything's going, which is why I don't think they're going to die anytime soon. I know there's a bit of an oversaturation right now, but I feel like because of the original productions, I feel like that's what's keeping them, really still going, and it's going to keep them going strong.
Oh, definitely.
And, I mean, that's better for us because that means there's more work, right?
Absolutely.
Nice.
More opportunities. So keep your eyes peeled, everyone. These guys are on the up.
I see what you did there.
You knew them when.
The One Up podcast?
Yeah. It all started here in this home. This random house. I don't know if y'all have ever gone into like the yes, this pseudo horror film. It's fine. M. Night, shout out to you. It's fine. It's cool. It's cool.
Oh man, but yeah,
it's daytime here.
That sounds rough though. Like doing the whole overnight thing.
Oh yes, especially in like the thick of the heat, because it would go into the summer schedule when you're having the tropics influence you. So you had, I think it was around the time of the ice bucket challenge. So we were like, cool, we'll be a part of the ice bucket challenge willingly.
Yes,
done.
That's
holding
amazing.
ice in your pulse points and everything. Just.
I remember one of my shoots. One of them I produced a long time ago, probably about 2016-ish. It was a whole overnight short film. We were able to get it all done, but oh my god, I was never an overnight guy, and I have so much respect after that for everybody. I remember I was it was up in Denton, so driving down 35, I was awake and everything.
Sure.
But then getting on 820, going back towards my house, because I've driven that so many times, my brain's like, this, go to sleep.
Right, exactly.
So I'm like, oh crap. So how the hell when did you sleep?
A lot of EDM, just like a lot of like amped up music, like your 4th Red Bull, which wouldn't kick in until you're like towards the tail end of your drive. Yeah, I don't know. You call people, just please keep me awake.
Yeah, I mean,
it's tough. You do develop, and you adapt to it for sure.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, yeah, when you get there, all the energy just comes back because
it's an adrenaline rush.
When
being
you're
around people that are into it just as much as you are. Yeah.
When you're in the moment, when you're going, man, like there's no better feeling than just being on a shoot and just going and working on it, especially when stuff is going well.
100%. Oh yeah, I mean, and even when it's not, like that's a joke for later, right?
Yeah,
like around lunch.
Of course. I always think of productions. It's like they go either one of two ways. There's not really a middle ground. It's either like the most fun you've ever had, or when you're on production, you regret every second, and once you're done, you're like, that was an amazing experience.
You don't remember any of the trauma. It's like you blacked out.
Yes. Yeah. So you're like a glutton for punishment. So it's either amazing 100%. Or yes. That's why I love this industry, man. It's so much fun.
Oh, it is such a blast. I always talk about like being a part of the magic in any way, in any capacity. I've had amazing opportunities working as a set medic and a PA and just behind the house. So you really gain an understanding in that way too, just how it all kind of comes together and the puzzle fits.
So if not acting, maybe I'm not sure if acting is your favorite thing, but
I mean,
if not acting,
it's been a minute.
What is your favorite?
Life about acting is the truth. But I do love animals. I do love being out in nature. I really a bit of a foodie and just Well, like the coffee, the fancy coffee, you know.
So yeah, on set, what's your favorite job on set? What out of the stuff you've done? What's the stuff you don't do?
If
the
I'm
most?
not I mean, I really enjoy writing, just to see your words come to life and people take for your interpretation. And then 9 times out of 10, like do something that's maybe off the cuff, improvise, and you being like, and they going, oh, whoa, is that okay? They're clocking your face, right? Your reaction, and you're like, no, I never could imagine it that way. You did it beautifully. So that really is fulfilling too.
Nice. Have you made a lot of stuff that you wrote? Have you produced a lot of stuff that you wrote?
Yes, in terms of sketch.
Okay.
We'll see about getting it filmed to TVD.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's always nice. Yeah, when you see something like that. I don't know, like I'm terrible at writing. I see
Take some discipline, you know? It's when you're writing in tandem with like another person there, especially with your friends, like it just seems to flow. But it is getting into that habit.
Yeah, that's what Manuel's good for. He's really good at, when you need something
Shout out
done
behind the camera.
Yeah,
does he ever come on camera? Manuel.
He's usually in this seat whenever we have another person.
Just imagine we'll put in his hologram later. It's
like he has in his picture in his house.
We'll Photoshop him like in his grandparents' picture.
Hey, just fun fact, like when you enter upon the threshold, there's like a framed photo of his grandparents, and then like, I don't know, some kind of cardboard cutout laminated of him, just like superimposed like a collage, and you're like, cool, this is happening right now to my face.
We don't really need that. We still have him. He's in that picture back there.
I don't know, it's to scale, so we'll have to just blow it up.
Well, yeah, so my writing process is I usually start from the middle. I have like an idea, and I'm like, how do I build around this?
That's what they say, is to start in the middle. Yeah,
What's your
great
process
advice
for
I've
that?
always gotten in different workshops is to start in the middle, and to not really stress about the process, just to write out a draft and then realize there will be many additional drafts after that. You know, taking it to workshops, writers groups, I really recommend those. There's a ton on places that need to sponsor us, so I won't say their names, right? But definitely if you Google for writing groups in your neighborhood, that I absolutely recommend that avenue.
Nice.
Going through a theater too. I mean, I took a writer's workshop from one of the writers from Key and Peele. And that was just, you just never know where what theaters have access to. So that's really an avenue I would recommend as well.
Yeah, theater's something I never really worked in, but oh my god, it seems like it'd be a lot of fun. Either, I mean, from any part of it, looking at it, I know a lot of actors that we've talked to, a lot of them come from that world or have done that world.
It's just the easiest, right? It's most accessible, like community theater. It's right there in your backyard.
So we also spoke about this with some of our guests, like that transition going from theater over to TV. Did you have? How was that for you?
Honestly, I felt better prepared in the sense of stamina. Because you show up at your rehearsal and then maybe rehearse for 5 minutes sometimes. So just, there's this idea in the TV and film industry that it's the hurry up and wait, and they are not wrong. Yeah. You are there. They have to light for things. They have to situate for cameras. So in order to do so, you're there with a book. You're there visiting, etc. Right? So having for that stamina, I felt really was helpful to develop early on.
And yeah, see, we tried to make this feel like a real set. That's why when I do have one and I'll start at
this,
1:30, 2:30. Sorry about that. We apologize.
They don't know. Yeah. They don't know the blood, sweat, and tears that go into great lighting. You know, it's more accurate. You were trying to give me the experience, the full on. I get it.
Yeah.
It really is like mood lighting in here. It's like ooh, like swanky.
It does make it look really. It does make it look really nice at the end product though, which is why we kind of like it. Yeah.
What? I don't care how I look. I'm an actor. What?
I think the lighting's been inconsistent in this podcast. Sometimes it's like brighter or darker, but we never light it exactly the same.
All right. Yeah. It's fine. It's the running tail.
That's no problem. It's fine. They're here to listen to your voice more than anything, you know.
Fair, true.
And to the wonderful advice and stuff, you know, obviously you have 3 years of experience.
The wisdom. Yes, the sage wisdom.
Of course, you know, been doing this for 3, yeah, you know.
Yeah, right? About that, yeah. Absolutely.
But you've also been doing a lot of comedy, right?
Yes. Comedy, I would say, is more recent, but like kind of not. I don't know. It's just, I feel like I have a certain look, and no one was really taking me seriously in dramatic roles. And so once I started leaning into comedy, that's when I started booking. And it's a lot of fun to make people laugh, to bring them that joy, I call it. So to provide for that experience has been wonderful. I would say I got into specifically improv acting about 10 plus years ago. So just to be able to practice the craft in that way has been remarkable.
What were takeaways from like improv that you like incorporate to everything else?
Oh man, here we go. Yeah, I just did a show last night. But really to be able to take for the things that you rehearsed that felt very similar to drama camp, matter of factly, just exercises and things that even some of the instructors, Viola Spolin, Del Close, like they would do in rehearsals and then say like, oh, by the way, you can use this in a performance. And we would, and we have. And then taking that and developing a bond with your teammates, the people you're playing with, right? That like being around a theater that's, it's I would say there's a vibe. It's real buzzy. It gives you high energy. Again, that adrenaline rush, like being around fellow nerds to something that you enjoy and could talk about for days.
Yes.
So there's that. And there's also like performing, which could go either way because with improv specifically, it's unscripted. And when you talk about rehearsing for improv, people are like, wait, what? It's like, well, there's certain formats and things you could do once you get past like short form, the games, and then you go into medium form and kind of can take it to that next level. It's like a real like skill. Yeah. Are you drinking LaCroix too? I feel like.
Just water for now.
No, it's all good. But yeah, and then inevitability. The inevitability is a festival. So yeah, taking it to that festival path. Gone to LA Comedy Fest, still close in New York, Boston, Tampa, Sarasota, etc., and so on. So to be able to perform around people, again, that's that nerddom, like that fan expo, if you will, like a Comic-Con, and like seeing so many people into it just as much as you are. Whew, it's a rush.
Now, I've really gotten into comedy like for the last few years. Like comedy is probably like the first genre I go into for film.
Yeah.
But as far as like getting into like stand-up comedy and now following comedians, podcasting has been doing that for a while. Like all these comedians have their own podcasts.
It's true. Do you have a favorite one?
Well, I haven't been listening to a lot of them since I like stopped working at my other job, but I used to listen to like the Whitney Cummings podcast, Tiger Belly.
Yeah.
Tiger Belly, Your Mom's House.
Sure.
And of course Rogan. Listen to Rogan quite a bit.
Who's now in Austin, so shout out to that. I really like, it's called Smartless, and by the way, just, you know, this is us just talking about our own passions. They're not paying us. But it's Jason Bateman. It's, the guy from BoJack Horseman. Gonna blank on his name. Will Arnett.
Will Arnett.
And Sean Hayes from Will and Grace. And I guess they've all interacted on projects in the past, and so they decided to come together and just riff. And the premise of this podcast is that they have a surprise guest that only one of them know about.
Nice.
And so you talk about like going in green for the interview, like them as well. And it's just
this
they have such good chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
Same as y'all. You have this really good chemistry, so you just feed off of it. And
no, I mean like
best.
usually only one of us knows the guest. And
who knew today? Who knew? Was it George or was it you, Milos?
It was not me 100%.
Milos found out yesterday.
Surprise!
Well, let's go. We'll just talk at the people. They'll talk back. Let's do it.
Yeah, back and forth, see what sticks, throw the pasta.
Milos was like, are we doing a podcast today?
I guess I'll wake up.
Yeah, because that was, they talked about it a couple of days ago, and then no word yesterday. I'm like, are we good? We canceled? What happened? I'm like, we're good. Okay, cool. I'm coming.
Yeah,
I'm on my way.
Yeah, we'll start a week off. We're like, we're doing the podcast on this day, this time, and then that's it. And then everyone's like, so are we still doing it?
Yeah.
Like,
That is true to TV and film as well.
Oh, yeah, moving dates and stuff like that. That's
100%.
But one thing I will say, I think originally we tried to schedule this for yesterday, and I'm so glad we did it today because it's so much cooler outside.
Yes.
That means this place is not a sweat dungeon like it usually is.
For those of you that are unawares, here in the DFW, it gets quite hot and humid. Not quite like Houston, but still. It can get tropical.
Oh, yeah. And especially in this room because we have to shut off the AC for mic purposes. And
I love it. I'm prone to cold. I'm like, yeah. But I get it.
Yeah. Gotta make it, it's, you gotta suffer for the arts, right? Gotta make it sound good.
For the craft. For the craft. Yes, it's true.
This used to be Manuel's old workout room. So, like,
there are, like, free weights, so everyone understands. To paint a real picture.
Yeah. So he never put the AC in here so he could sweat off even more. So it was a sauna and a workout room.
There it is. Maximize. That's just smart. I feel like that's like a life hack right there.
You save so much money living in Texas and just being in a hot car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I can relate to that. I had no AC in my car last year during summer, and it was an adventure. I don't know that I would repeat it, but yeah. Hey.
Speaking of last year and stuff like that, I guess because we're still kind of a little getting out of COVID. How was your COVID experience?
Ooh.
Did you get work? Like, were you able to work?
Yes. I also do voiceover, so that really wasn't affected. Shout out to iHeart and Premiere. Been with them for about a decade. But really, just a lot of things shut down just so they could figure out like safety protocols, which like grateful for. Absolutely, we want to approach this with the best approach possible. That's beneficial to everyone while also keeping us careful and safe and all the things. But adaptation is nothing new. Certainly, being in the arts, you're constantly pivoting. So this idea that now we had to record things online. I ran a couple shows via Zoom online as well. It was nothing new, but as far as for gaining the knowledge to that technology, I think there was a little bit of a learning curve there. So that was a part of it. Everyone was home, so that was a part of it. Catch up on all the books you started, that was a part of it. Absolutely. Yeah, a little cuddles with my dog.
Aww, that's the best part.
Yes.
So with auditioning, stuff like that, do you prefer auditioning in person or do you prefer the whole Zoom audition?
You know, I've had good luck with both. Self-tapes is what we call it in the industry here. And honestly, they were a part of it beforehand, but now it's absolutely a must, a skill to have for sure. And booked something from a self-tape. So in having for those experiences, kind of like the, to power through, you have no other option but going through, really was beneficial at the time. Yeah. So as far as for the preference, I mean, either for sake of that booking.
Of course. I
am available any way you need. Thank you.
So what's like a key skill you would say is like most important for those specific auditions? Since you have a lot of
so to clarify, I definitely do everything in terms of voiceover, commercial, TV, film, newer streaming media, and they all have for their way. I would absolutely recommend watching for a video on how to do a self-tape, definitely taking a workshop for sure. Fort Worth Acting Studio has some excellent teaching. But as far as for like skill to the auditioning, just brace yourself for some time. You're going to want to build in a little bit of leverage because things will go awry, especially if you're the only one manning the system. Like, we're very grateful, Manuel, to have you today, like helping us with tech. But like when it's just you, like that can be a learning process. Woo! Like finding the right lights, let alone like timing it with the day. The sun goes down, everyone. So eventually you're going to have to figure that out too. So yeah, just like having grace with yourself.
Yeah, that's something I can never really do. Like being by myself on camera is like the worst thing ever. I used to run a couple of YouTube channels. I still do one for fun. But like
what's that YouTube? So everyone can follow you, share all the love.
It's not film related. It's card game related. Some stuff I do on the side. But no, like every time I need to like record something for myself. It's always like 17 takes, start over every single time.
Yes!
I'm like, oh my God, end me. That's why,
True.
That's why I like this, because this is literally just a conversation. Nothing is completely scripted. There's some points we may or may not want to hit, but this is like, that's why I do enjoy doing this, because it's literally just no script. I don't have to like, oh wait, no, let's start over. Hey, hi, oh wait, let's start over. Hello, that hello wasn't right.
Which really kills for momentum, right?
Yeah.
You're like, man.
We capture all your mistakes on here.
Yeah, exactly. Some go into the B-roll. I don't know.
I mean,
nothing gets cut out now.
It's all a part of it. It's humanizing the stutters, the burps.
That does make it a little bit better. There's these guys I follow called Corridor Digital. They do a lot of media stuff. They started doing VFX originally.
Oh, cool.
But now they do their own productions and stuff like that a lot. They have a podcast as well that I listen to every once in a while.
Okay.
And they started doing that recently. It's like where like nothing is cut out, everything is left in, because the podcast is better for it. I will be honest, especially that one, because you can Because when you see a jump cut, you're like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, right.
Like,
now you're out of the moment.
Yeah, you're like, was there something there? Was there
a cat walked by?
Yeah. And it just makes it better. I feel makes it sound more natural, which is what I like personally. But everybody has their own preference, of course.
Totally.
Yeah.
For the most part, this one doesn't really get edited, but since we're shooting on 3 cameras, we could kind of mask things here and there.
That's true too.
Which is nice because, like, you know,
Fanciness.
whenever a guest is talking, I try to take my drinks and stuff. You know, whenever a guest is not. Speaking of which, by the way, another sober podcast. You're welcome.
Hey,
I'm trying not to drink on the podcast.
That's
A
right.
little bit.
You're welcome.
I personally, in the moment, think they're funnier when I'm drinking, but you know, sometimes in the edit, it doesn't really show that way. Though the episode
Depends
with
on the
Katriva,
demo.
the episode with Katriva is one of my favorites because me and the guests were both like just, you know, not drinking too much, but we both got, you know, pretty loose with the drinks.
Sustainable buzz.
It was
Yeah.
great. It was one of my favorite podcasts, and watching it back too, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that was the one where I had to like reel you guys back in. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, going off topic.
You're
Let's
like,
go
okay,
back.
we're ordering Taco Bell. Now let's continue.
Taco Bell
That's like one of my go-to, like, just, it's like garbage food, but it's like so tasty all the same. So,
Oh my god!
like
yeah.
after night partying, like, yeah.
Dude, they just brought
We're
back
hitting up
the
the bell.
Mexican pizza at Taco Bell. and the
Oh,
lines
yes,
have been
please.
crazy.
Apparently, Dolly Parton's a huge fan.
Oh yeah.
So maybe she had a.
I think she's writing a musical.
What? There's a, I'm in.
Pizza
I'm in.
musical.
You had me at Taco Bell musical. Done.
Am I the only person in existence who thinks those things are disgusting?
I mean, with enough hot sauce, right?
So-
you have to imagine a night of partying first. Like, factor that in, and there you go.
No.
But
that's-
Milos
it's
worked
real.
there, so he's like, he's sick
Oh, that's so you have the inside. See, I don't know that I would want to eat it after I work there.
That was
That's-
his YouTube channel, right?
Oh yeah, my original one of my original channels was called That One Taco Bell Guy.
You were him.
That was a billion years ago. But no, it's not that. Like I still eat Taco Bell. Like you're right, after a night of drinking. But no, nothing beats a quesarito because you've got that. You've
It's
got
both
the,
things. It's all the textures.
You've got the rice in there. You've got everything to absorb all the terrible drinks you've had. It's great.
Yep.
We should start a podcast
Like
about drunk
never
food.
It's just funny to
That's
hear
gonna
the
be
Taco Bell
this
guy say he
flop.
doesn't like Taco Bell.
Just a Mexican pizza. That thing's disgusting. It needs to stay in hell where it went. Cancel me. I don't care.
That's it. Hot take. Yeah, I feel you.
So, I saw there was a couple of. I looked through your IMDb real quick, just a little bit.
Woohoo! Search me,
because-
Michelle Rose Domb.
Because I'm
Get up my star meter.
Because I'm a big wrestling fan. Stuff like that. I saw you working in
Yeah.
a movie that had Shawn Michaels in it. Wow, that was
Yeah.
interesting.
That was a good time.
Is he a
I'm trying
character?
to remember the reference. What was the project? I know my own IMDb. Let me just go through my resume really quick.
Notes are things that we don't do that we should do beforehand because we're dumb. We're just staying in just to show how stupid and unprepared we are.
It's
Hell yeah.
fine. It's fine. We're
Hell
human.
yeah. It was. I think was it the 90 feet one?
90 feet away from home?
I think.
Yeah. Shot on that when I first moved back to that of Dallas. Well,
that's it.
technically I think it's shot in West Texas or something. I'm trying to remember. But definitely shout out to Clint Howard on that one because he was on production and that his wife actually is a comedian friend of mine.
Nice.
But yeah, 90 Feet from Home, Dean Cain, siblings reuniting, right? A bit of a come-up-in story in that way, right? Families coming back together, like mending fences. Everyone was really chill on that set.
Nice. So kind of go on that as well because you were talking about how that's in Texas. You worked in a bunch of other states too, right?
Yes.
Do you have like a favorite spot to work in?
Honestly, because I lived there the most, so definitely East Coast, Northeast.
Nice.
Time in New York City, working Katona on Orange is the New Black. Working in South Florida, just again the Keys, Miami. What a backdrop, right?
Yes.
Yeah, phenomenal
Beautiful.
times. But my passport is active. I will go wherever.
Absolutely.
I think we did meet the Dallas Film Commission or whatever.
At Four Corners.
DCC. Whenever we met there, you had just moved in. I think you were telling us that you just came from New York.
I did. I was coming from that East Coast. It was a good time.
Do you
I'm
meet
happy
a
to
lot
be
of
here.
people to work with, like at the mixers, or?
Yeah, well, yourself included. So there you go. Why you go to the networking things, it is all about relationships at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You just never know.
Yeah, it's not really who you know; it's who knows you. That's the most important one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
True.
It's a lot of those mixers. Sometimes I stop going to them just because we're trying to always get projects going. But you keep meeting the people who are just doing the same thing, and they're like, "Oh, I'm
I
a
already
director."
have a DP.
Everybody's
Yeah.
a director. Everyone's a director, and you're like, "I need somebody who does audio." Come on.
Yeah,
True.
that's what happens. Like nobody really wants to do audio, so I'm the one who usually ends up doing audio on projects. I'm like, well, if nobody else will do it, I guess I got it.
And that is a great lesson, actually. If you're looking for work and want to get experience, just learning other departments, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, learning other departments is really important too, because at that point you know exactly what the department needs.
Yes.
And so you know to stay the hell out of their way whenever stuff happens. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's
until
really,
needed.
Exactly. That's why I feel like more directors and actors kind of need to go through everything.
Yes.
All the steps
True
like that.
film school experience.
Exactly, because at that point, you know how to help somebody. I said exactly like 75 times.
70 more, please.
Yes. But yeah, you know where you're needed. You know how to help them out, do their job, stay out their way, or be in their way whenever you need it.
Right.
That's why I think that's most important. And like you said, you have a lot of experience doing a lot of stuff, which is great.
You have to. Yeah. I feel definitely more that I'm actively contributing now that I know exactly how the pieces fit together. Right. But I'll never tell. Because that's a part of it too, is the magic, is like you knowing full well that you used some crazy dolly and get up in order to get for that sweeping shot, right? But yeah,
whenever I started getting more into film, like I think the people I would look into the most were people who were making movies like at indie level. So sometimes they would do everything.
Some of my favorites.
And whenever they couldn't like get certain shots, they would have to go out and like sneak stuff in and do it themselves.
Yeah.
That's
so
fair.
like Robert Rodriguez type was like the all-in-one filmmaker, one-man band.
Yeah.
So it kind of made me go learn every part myself.
Smart.
Like, every part production.
You just never know. Like things you may need to tweak and post, and then you're like, I already have that skill. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Right now, I think I can't remember, David Sandberg, the guy who directed Shazam.
Oh, yeah.
He's like big into VFX, and he would do like short films. He did a short film called Lights Out. They eventually became the movie.
Oh.
But he learned how to do VFX on his own. He's like self-taught.
Nice.
And now he's making Shazam 2, and like a bunch of horror movies. But his stuff is like, it's kind of inspirational. You see his early stuff, you're like, oh man, he was learning all this on his own.
Yeah.
And even while working on big budget movies, he had a whole VFX team. And he said for one of the horror movies, one of the scenes they said was too graphic, and then we're gonna have to make him cut it out.
Oh.
But he just went in, and like knowing how to use Blender, he was able to mask some things in the same shot, so they wouldn't have to cut it out, and they could just bring the rating down.
Okay.
Which was something as simple as like, since the camera was panning and everything in the shot, he kind of tracked it, and he was able to build like a virtual version of it.
What?
And then the thing he wanted to add into it was just like a towel that went over a guy's face.
Wow.
And just covering that up, he was able to get the rating down to PG-13.
Wow.
Nice. Well done, David. Yes. Shout out.
But it's still cool to hear this guy like still working with a huge team and still going in himself.
And
like,
some of these like MacGyver tactics. Yeah. Cool.
Oh God, MacGyver tactics. Oh, God.
Just give me a paperclip. It's fine.
I still have some of my old PVC gear I used to make back in the day when you had nothing. I remember
absolutely
my very first green screen setup. I didn't have light stands, so a funny thing. If y'all are looking for a really cheap light stand with a clamp light, your vacuum cleaners, you know, where you have like the attachments, the extender.
Oh sure,
attachments?
yeah.
That is about 3/4 of an inch, which is perfect.
Wow.
You can just put a PVC pipe in there and then clamp your light on top of it, as long as it's not too heavy, and you have a free freaking light stand out of a PVC
video
pipe.
Right there, waiting to happen. That's amazing.
Yeah, I have a lot of garbage like that. Because,
make it work, right?
Yeah, back when, especially when I was trying, do the dumb YouTube stuff for myself.
Yeah.
And all that, and you're like, I don't want to, I don't want to spend $50 on a fucking
no, definitely
broom
not.
pole. I'll just make one out of a broom handle, some dumb shit like that.
You find things around your house that is so relatable. When I was trying to do sound effects for this voiceover thing we were recording very early on in my childhood, we were like taking tinfoil to make rain sounds. Yes. So you do what you gotta do.
We had a friend who made like a homemade slider out of electrical equipment, like the boxes for plugs and stuff. He made the slider. He let us borrow it. We used it on the shoot, and in order to like level it out at the height we needed, we didn't really have stands or anything. But we had a bunch of boxes of pizza from like for lunch for the last few days.
Yes.
So we stacked it on pizza boxes and just used the slider like that.
Hey, I mean, the thing is, nobody who's watching the final product has to know.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Exactly. That's the director's cut. And right there, that's
the funniest thing. We also didn't have like a tripod head we could mount onto the slider, so you just had to put the camera flat on it. So what we ended up doing is we had the second camera that we borrowed from a friend. We put the camera on there and then the little adapter for a light. And then we put the second camera on top. So now we had something to like pivot.
Yes, that's so clutch.
Use the camera as a tripod head.
Glorious. Tell me the product came out okay.
And never got finished because the actress bailed on us.
Oh, well, maybe pet projects, something you come back to.
The actress bailed, and we never got the slider back from that guy's apartment. So
and those pizza boxes have since been tossed. So yeah.
Oh, but that was fun.
That was a fun shoot. We even tied the camera guy, who was also the director. We tied him to the balcony so he could get a shot. So he's hanging off the balcony so he could get the shot for the film.
Whatever it takes.
Oh yeah.
For the craft. Whatever it takes.
Didn't Erin carry the actress up the stairs because she was like, she hurt my ankle or some shit. Oh my god.
There's this crazy Anna Kendrick story when she did Into the Woods that she had to wear magnetic shoes and had to run off a platform, and they were just gonna flip on a switch so that she would stay in place right at the edge, and she was like, this is treacherous. Like, if we don't time this perfectly, I will go flying. So maybe not these shoes though. Okay, thanks, bye.
It's like something crazy.
Just the logic, just the overthought.
And they didn't have
I can stop on a dime. We don't need magnetic shoes though.
They had shoes from Face Off.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Man, but that magnet, that's like an ankle breaker right there. That's insane.
You get into some crazy amounts of wardrobe too, like in period pieces. When we did said Taming of the Shrew for Shakespeare, easily wardrobe changes for days out in the wings, and so you barely exit, and then you're holding out your arms, and like a wardrobe person is going around you, just making sure the corset is on. So it just, just components that you have to be mindful of, right?
Oh yeah.
You talk about stamina, that too. But yeah, making it work either way. You're just subject to the means sometimes.
Whatever it takes to get the project done.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely, indeed.
Yeah, that's the one skill that's really, that I really do like that I picked up from those, all those old days of just doing dumb random stuff by myself.
You learn a lot.
I will not call myself a master of anything, but I can probably do a lot of the stuff on set kind of averagely, which is nice. So if you ever need a person to fill in, hey.
He's your guy. Milosh got you. He's on Staff Me Up, etc. So just...
whatever you need, just be like, hey, yo, come up, do this for me. All right.
Done deal.
Though, most of the time, audio, because nobody else wants to do it.
Oh, it's so true, though. Okay. You got a boom? Done.
Yes.
Have boom, will travel.
Oh, yeah. Star Wars pink underwear guy is my hero.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yes. Yes.
People will have to Google for that. It's worth it.
Absolutely.
We're gonna recreate that and put it on T-shirts.
Let that be the logo for this podcast.
Yeah.
Done. We figured it out. It was born today.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Oh my god. I remember in that same shoot they was talking about earlier, where we tied the director to the thing. I ended up messing up my knee a little bit before that, so anytime I could take a bit of a break, I would. There was a scene in the kitchen, so pretend this is the kitchen table, right? There was a couch right here, and I would just lay on the couch and sling the microphone over.
Yep.
And I would just point towards the people. I'm like, yep,
they'll never know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it turned out pretty good. The audio did turn out pretty well, even if it wasn't exactly pointed towards.
There's a saying out there that if the quality of the cinematography is kind of sacrificed, but you have good audio, people will tune in longer.
Absolutely.
So there's that.
That's 100% a YouTube thing, but yes, 100%. 100%. That's yeah.
No, I check out. If it's bad audio, I'm gone. Next.
I think for the last time we did the chip challenge, we had the issues with the recording. So it did not record other than 2 minutes of the podcast.
Oh no! So you're red faced for nothing. Just
we
ended up using the camera audio, which was okay, but you could tell it doesn't sound as well as everything else we put out.
Yeah, we need to
early on experiences.
We need to cut that episode up and do a quick highlight thing of all of us just dying.
I'd be game. I'd be game. I love spicy food. Let's go.
I was so cocky and confident.
I have a death wish.
I was like, I got this. End up puking my guts out in Manuel's bathroom after the podcast.
Man. on, like your own version of Jackass.
It hit
yeah,
Milos first. He was the first one out.
Yeah.
And we had Adrian here.
Oh,
who's
okay.
like usually here helping us out and running the cameras and stuff.
Definitely.
And he lasted the longest. He had
what's
like
Adrian's background? Does he like eat spicy food on the regular? Like what's?
Yeah, he does more so than me. I thought I was good, but nah, man. He see,
him and my brother were the two that like were good. They lasted like the 5 minutes before having to drink anything.
Okay.
Because I did the 2021
They like saved
twice.
up for this day.
I did the 2021 twice.
Yeah.
And no problems. The 2021 though killed me. That was insane.
They don't mess around.
Oh yeah.
People don't realize it's like pound for pound because it's like there's spicy food that like it's nice and smooth at the beginning, and then there's just like that end note. I'm getting into that foodieism again. But like for these spice food challenges, like throughout the experience, it is hot.
Yeah. I ended up buying a bottle of the Bomb. I don't know if you ever watch Hot Ones or not.
Ooh,
but
yeah.
I bought the Bomb.
Do not touch your eyes after.
It's awful. It's as awful as they say it is. You can handle the spice, but it just doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely right when they say it tastes like garbage. Mm-hmm. I'd much rather get one of the hotter ones that actually taste good.
I feel like the Bomb tastes more like Tabasco because it has a lot of that vinegar flavor.
Sure.
To it.
And that I love as well. And I feel like the secret, at least for like Hot Ones that show, is that like if you twist the wing and like get the meat off, you can get it down faster. But like again, it's that process. Like if you're just sitting there and trying to have for the whole thing, nope, you're a goner. R.I.P.
I think whenever we did the chip challenge, I ended up eating in 2 bites, and they're like, "Oh, you should have just done one."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Get it down. Pro tip.
And when I did it, they're like, no, chew. I'm like, oh no, I gotta chew it first.
That's
no,
it. Oh, man.
That's
Goner.
Yeah.
Cast out the life preserver. Out to sea, man.
You got any interesting projects coming up soon?
Yes, stage-wise, definitely going to be very grateful to be a part of Alternative Comedy Theater's big weekend of improv. So that's coming up. I'm hoping they film it or stream it. Yes, a lot of live shows. Just shot an Indeed commercial, so that's in post. Nice. Very excited for that. Job Science. Shout out to that team. And yeah, we'll see. Just throwing a lot of pasta against the wall as well. So you never know. Just stay posted, right? IMDb.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. I love people who keep on working, man. That's great. That's something I've kind of slacked on the last couple of years. I haven't really done as much in the film world because I've been trying to get my life together.
A lot of us, man. A lot of us. This pandemic just...
But I'm gonna hear after like a month or two when everything in my job stabilizes, I'm gonna throw myself back in.
There you go. 100%. Circle back, everyone. He is available. So just. Did you want to be promoted? I'm gonna promote you. I'm your publicist now. It's fine. There you go.
We'll pay you in LaCroix and bye.
Done. I need but few things. Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Come back for the next chip challenge.
Yes.
Oh no.
I'm serious. Keep me posted.
Mila's like, no.
When's 22? Okay, we gotta wait for the 22.
When does it reveal? Is it a summer thing? Is it like a fall?
I think it's usually like a summer thing.
I feel like the fall would be more appropriate because at least you have for like the cold weather to come in. Like when you're already sweating, oof.
You'll have to talk Manuel into it.
All right, Manuel.
He chickened out on the first one. He's like, nope.
It's because he knew.
He was. I remember we went to
wisdom speaking.
He said the Whataburger spicy ketchup was too much.
Oh, we're throwing shade.
But no, I mean, I remember we went to, I think it was Risky's, and I brought the Bomb. I'm like, hey, put some of this on there. So put a dab on everybody's. I'm like, yeah, let's just do it.
They can take it.
He was like, oh yeah, this is fine. And then he was like, this is not fine.
I am not good. I am not great.
Yeah.
You're looking a little green.
So the chip may be a bit too much for Manuel. It's fine. Well. He might do to his bathroom what I did to his bathroom, and I don't want to repeat of that. That was fire down below an escalator.
Do not go in there.
Oh no. Yeah, sorry. Like I said, this podcast is all over the place. We're talking about spicy chips.
We are, and
whatever.
bathrooms destroyed.
Yes.
It's called the Bomb for a reason. That's all we're saying.
Yes.
Oof. Yeah. Well.
All right. We're getting close to like around the time we start wrapping up.
I feel like we just started.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Whatever you need. Whatever.
No.
it
So
takes.
last thing is like, do you have like a a favorite experience in your time, like acting or doing comedy?
Oh man, that's like asking for your favorite child. Like to name that favorite child. Honestly, they're each unique in their own way, and definitely grateful and humbled by all of it. To work with people of all walks of life, bringing in their perspective, bringing their vision to life, has been remarkable. So just to be able to continue doing it, people are always like, what's your dream role? And I'm like, to be working. Yes. That would be the ideal. I love it all so much. So just continue making magic. Yeah. So
you're up to like try out any genre of films?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I am. I think definitely on every actor's bucket list is the idea of playing a zombie or a dead person, just because the makeup can be so intense with the SFX. So yeah, I'm on my way.
I know. I've always found that a lot of comedy actors, whenever they go into like drama, they tend to be really good. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't know.
You watch Barry? Have you ever seen Barry?
One of my all-time favorites, because dark comedy, just chef's kiss. But yeah, Bill Hader, who's from SNL anyway, and he wrote on South Park too, so definitely has for that insight.
That show has been like one of the best, and probably shows like some of the best examples of like the way they could get into a scene and then completely do a 180 within the same scene.
True. I agree. And also the perspective of actors is mostly accurate. So everything that you see from them being in an acting class to accepting an award, or I think it was at a premiere recently that his girlfriend had for that scene, just pretty spot on.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that kind of I end up seeing a lot in a lot of these filmmaking groups, stuff like that, is people just like, hey, you know, I just joined this group. Hey, how do I get a role on this show?
Yeah, I know, right? Just like that fast track. I'm like, ooh, buddy, you're going to be here in a minute. Here's a book.
I've seen people just go on those groups. They're like, hey, I need somebody to give me money to make this.
No. Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, that's their version of Indiegogo. Cool.
Yeah.
No, it's not even Indiegogo. It's like Facebook group chats.
Yep.
Or like just Facebook groups.
Like, here's my Cash App, guys. Can we just...
Yeah.
They're like...
That's how it works, though, right?
They're like, I need a producer with money so I can make this.
Don't we all?
And they're like, it's my first film.
Also, I have zero experience. Okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah, that's why I just mentioned in my vacuum cleaner story. Yeah, use that as a light stand. Save your money.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to plug, like social media, where people can follow you?
Yes, please show all the love, and I will show love back. We've had Instagram, Michelle Rose for Real. And then I do have a Facebook / Michelle Rose Domb. And then pretty active on a lot of other things. So, yeah, IMDb Pro especially. Come find me.
What about your local shows? You got something coming up soon?
Yes. If for those that are in the DFW area, at Dallas Comedy Club, we have in a medium form improv show that's called The Director. So that's going to be excellent. That's coming out soon. On a monthly show over at House of Dirt in Bishop Arts that's called Random Acts of Talent, as well as over at Opening Bell, a part of a duo prov. It's a 2-person team at Opening Bell, and that's monthly as well. So yeah, all of it gets shared on my social, so stay tuned.
Well, a good thing it's monthly, so that means we don't have to put out the podcast right away.
I know, exactly. There's no timestamp. I am forever relevant, as are you.
This podcast is recorded in year 20XX.
Yeah, exactly. Elon Musk has come through. Yeah. He made sure we were
Michelle, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
This has been a blast.
It's been a blast talking to you, George. You are the greatest co-host anybody could ask
for. Shout out, George.
Probably. And I am, of course,
we just shot on something. Can I promote that yet? Or our film challenge? If you want to promote that, we have that coming out.
We still don't know until like June 8th whether or not we get in.
But. Okay, well, we definitely shot on something together, so at least those efforts can be celebrated in the fact that we did it. We can talk about that.
You know what? How about we break our rule and maybe or possibly cut this part out if it's not at the time of the edit?
Okay, fair.
And then you can talk about it now, and if we end up like, slacking a little bit on the edit, and we know, we can talk about it. You want to plug it just in case and then cut it out if it's not?
I mean, George, that's all you.
All you, buddy.
Turn it on over to you.
Well, we could talk about the project.
Sure.
Sure. What?
Well, okay. We just started
got to see it, right?
We were gonna close the doors and then open back up the garage.
How are we doing on batteries?
45%. No, we're good. 47. 55.
Look at the monitor at the top right corner.
This one has a second battery. This is plugged in, right?
No, look at the monitor. That's the
top right corner.
Top right corner. No, they're good. Yeah. You got one full charge on one.
Okay, we're good.
On one ball.
All right.
Yeah, what was this project? Yeah, this was something I was not a part of. Unfortunately, I had to.
I was busy.
Milosh, you were there in spirit.
So
we had your faces on as a mascot. Great, just like hologram.
We had on a Friday night, I saw that the Russo brothers posted something on their YouTube channel, and that ended up being like a 48-hour film challenge type thing. And they put out that same night they put out what the requirements were or what the prompt was, and it was to make a video analyzing or using at least 3 genres of film,
which is a challenge.
And so he puts an example like being horror, action, comedy, and then he just needed to.
And we got to choose, right?
Those 3 genres? Got to choose whatever genres they were. So you had to use 3 genres, and you had to use them or analyze them in some way. And you had 48 hours to upload it. And so that same night, I sent it out. I think I sent it out to some of the groups, like with our friend groups right there. And
on Facebook, yeah?
Yeah, on Facebook, just like the chat. So I put it on the podcast run, and we weren't like, I don't know if we'll do anything. And like some people started replying to me, it's like, do you have something? Are you gonna do something? I'm like, I don't know yet. I haven't gotten a chance to think about it. But then like
this was on the Friday of that weekend?
Friday, so that same Friday.
Wow.
And then like around midnight, I just had the idea, so I started writing it out. And then I was talking to a friend about it.
Like you storyboarded it, right? There are illustrations of this, everyone.
Yeah, I did a little bit of drawing on it.
Okay.
But I like wrote it out first, or like just a quick description of it.
Okay.
And like sent it to a friend. He's like, "Oh, this sounds pretty good." I'm like,
"Is that friend Manuel? You sent it to Manuel."
No,
it was another
guy.
See, I'm learning things too.
It was a friend Kevin who was in Milosh's chair the podcast before this.
Oh.
Oh snap! We don't speak of the prayer host.
So
that's fine.
Kevin was like, "It sounds pretty."
It's okay, buddy.
So Kevin liked the idea, and I was like, "All right, I'll see if I could do it." So I started messaging Manuel. He's like, "Hey, you think we could start shooting this?" It's like, let's try finding people.
Yeah, the perfect.
But that same morning, I had another shoot. So
you busy though.
So I was like charging everything that night, and I had to like make sure I had everything charged and like spare batteries too. Yeah. So I went to the first shoot, and like while I was at the other shoot, I was texting back and forth with Manuel. Manuel was trying to find actors. And by the time I got to his house, which was like 3 p.m. on Saturday, he managed to talk to you and like
Noah. He did. Made the rounds.
Yeah, so
the other actors though that worked on our project, I felt like they knew maybe a little bit more in advance, like the day before. We all got.
Everybody was like
impressive.
Last minute. Like I think everybody got booked on like an hour before.
Like. Yeah.
We got lucky. Noah lived like 20 minutes away. He was like real close.
Yes. Sweet.
And so whenever they all came over, that's pretty much when we finally had like a finalized script. So when you guys got here, we had the final script, passed it out.
Like right to the minute.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I was like, I tried to keep the idea really short. I was like something really short, really simple. So it was like we could shoot it like within 1 day and edit it that same day.
Done.
And like by the time I had that finalized idea, I was like, oh, we could probably do this like in 3 hours. So it's not too complicated.
Cool.
And then at the end result was a short that included horror, action, romance, and comedy.
4.
So we ended up having like 4. So all 3 genres are wrapped into like a comedy.
Done deal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, it was a blast to be a part of, and again, thank you. And yeah, that is not uncommon to the story of a festival entry, so you're hearing it here first.
Yeah, I've only worked on a couple of those 24-hour ones, and it's always so much hectic, but so
like
much
chaos.
fun. Yeah,
but I love it. I love it all the same. Like the chaos is fun to swim through.
That's what makes it fun. That's the challenge. You know, that's why it's fun. Yeah.
Agreed.
Can't wait to do another one of those.
Yeah, you start feeling that same pressure when you have assignments in school. And
Hey, that works perfect because I always submit my stuff last. So last minute. Let's go.
All right, let's actually wrap this up now.
All right. All good things.
All right, ending for the second time in a row. Michelle, thank you again so much for being on this podcast. George, thanks for co-hosting. Manuel, you're a fucking beast behind the camera, bro. We love you.
Shut up.
We just wish you were better at hot sauce, you asshole. And my name again is Miloš Bukarica, George, Michelle, Manuel. Link to everybody's stuff in the video and down below. Thanks for listening. You will hear us again whenever we record the next one. Also, side note, let's pick
like
a day.
and follow, subscribe.
Of course. But let's pick another day again where it's 70 degrees outside, where it's absolutely beautiful, and this is not a sweat dungeon. Thank you.
That's gonna be hard.
You heard it here first.
Have a good one.
Bye. Thanks.